Title: The Blessings of Serving One's Mother. My beloved brothers and sisters in faith, one of the most beautiful truths in our deen is this: paradise is not distant, it is not unreachable. Sometimes it is not found in long nights of prayer or in mountains of charity. Sometimes it is found at the feet of your mother. The Messenger of Allah taught us through his blessed words an example that obedience to the mother is one of the most direct and beloved paths to Jannah. When a man came to the Prophet, longing to join a noble expedition of jihad, the Prophet asked him, "Is your mother alive?" The man said, "Yes." The Prophet replied, "Then remain with her, for paradise lies beneath her feet." Subhanallah. What a powerful response. The Prophet didn't tell him to prove his piety through a sword or by going to battle. He told him to stay close to his mother, to serve her, to obey her, because the reward of that obedience is greater than he imagined. Paradise itself. What does it mean that paradise is beneath her feet? It means that your Jannah is hidden in those moments when she calls your name and you reply with gentleness. It is hidden in the cup of water you bring her when she's tired. It is hidden in the quiet patience you show when she repeats herself. It is hidden in the tears you wipe from her eyes when no one else notices she's crying. Obedience is not just in the big gestures. It is in the consistent, quiet submission to her comfort, her needs, her dignity. Even when she is wrong in her emotions, your duty is not to correct her pridefully, but to respond with humility, because her rank in your life is not dependent on her mood or behavior. It is a divine command from the Lord of the worlds. Allah has commanded in the Quran, and we have enjoined upon man care for his parents. His mother carried him, increasing her in weakness upon weakness, and his weaning is in 2 years. Be grateful to me and to your parents. To me is the final destination. Surah Luqman 31:14. Look at how Allah combines gratitude to him with gratitude to parents, and the mother is mentioned specifically for her unmatched sacrifices. Why? Because when you obey your mother, you are obeying the one who created her. When you hurt her, you are not just hurting a human being, you are disobeying the Lord who elevated her status. My dear brothers and sisters, obedience to the mother is not passive, it is active, it is proactive. It means anticipating her needs before she has to ask. It means protecting her from loneliness in old age, defending her honor in her absence, and choosing her comfort even when it clashes with your desires. Sometimes people run after sheikhs for dua, or travel far and wide to seek barakah, but they forget that the most powerful dua might be whispered by their own mother when her heart is touched by their kindness. One sincere "May Allah bless you" from her, made with love, can open doors for you that all the world's efforts cannot. And do you know what is frightening yet true? That just as her pleasure leads to paradise, her anger can lead to destruction. If she cries because of you, not from pain, but from how you've treated her, it is a dangerous place to be. Her tears are not ordinary, they are recorded by the angels. Her broken heart matters in the sight of Allah. So when you raise your voice or neglect her needs or prioritize the dunya over her time, realize that you may be walking away from Jannah with every step. My beloved brothers and sisters, there are many honored figures in our lives. Our teachers, our scholars, our elders, our leaders. But no one on earth has been given a status like the mother in the eyes of Allah and his messenger. Her rank is not simply based on culture or emotion. It is not based on how she raised you or whether she was educated or kind. It is a divinely appointed honor, sealed in the Quran and in the Sunnah, revealed from above the 7 heavens. Let us begin with the Quran. In multiple places, Allah links servitude to him with kindness and dutifulness to parent, especially the mother. In Surah Al-Isra, verse 23, Allah commands, "And your Lord has decreed that you not worship except him, and to parents good treatment. Whether one or both of them reach old age while with you, say not to them so much as of, and do not repel them, but speak to them a noble word." Think about the weight of this verse. Allah does not simply advise us to be kind, he commands it directly after commanding Tawheed. He places honoring parents, especially the mother, next to worshipping him alone. This is not a small matter, this is not casual, this is a priority of faith, and look at how precise the language of the Quran is. Even the slightest expression of annoyance, just is forbidden. Imagine that. You could pray all night, fast every Monday and Thursday, donate in secret, memorize Quran. But if you say to your mother with disrespect in your tone, you are standing in direct violation of a divine command. This is the level of her status. In Surah Luqman, as Allah speaks about the wisdom of Luqman the wise, he reminds us, his mother carried him with hardship and gave birth to him with hardship. Be grateful to me and to your parents. Surah Luqman 31:14. Notice how the mother is emphasized specifically. Her pain, her sleepless nights, the weight she carried, the tears she shed, the agony of labor. It is not forgotten by Allah. Where people may overlook it, where children may grow and forget the womb that once held them, Allah remembers, and He instructs the believer never to be ungrateful. In the Hadith, the position of the mother is even more powerfully reinforced. A man came to the Prophet and said, "O Messenger of Allah, who among people is most deserving of my good treatment?" The Prophet replied, "Your mother." The man asked, "Then who?" He said, "Your mother." Again the man asked, and again the Prophet replied, "Your mother." Only on the fourth time did he say, "Your father." Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim 3 times. Your mother, your mother, your mother. What does this repetition mean? It means her right over you is triple. Her sacrifices, her role, her position in your life, and her ability to shape your destiny by her prayers or her pain, they are unmatched. This hadith is not simply a gentle reminder, it is a divine ranking. It shows us the structure of loyalty. The mother comes first, again and again, and then the father. This does not diminish the father's role, but it elevates the mother's sacrifices to an extraordinary degree. Another narration brings even more weight to her status. The Prophet once said, "Paradise lies at the feet of mothers." Narrated in Sunan and Nasai, authenticated by Al-Albani, such a simple yet mighty statement. Every time she walks, the footsteps she leaves behind carry the scent of Jannah, but only for those wise enough, humble enough, and faithful enough to serve her with love, patience, and honor. Even in matters of jihad, the ultimate struggle for the sake of Allah, a man once came seeking permission to go out in battle. The Prophet asked him, "Is your mother alive?" He said, "Yes." The Prophet replied, "Then stay with her, for your Jannah is with her." How many of us chase greatness in public, while ignoring greatness at home? My beloved brothers and sisters, if you were to count the sacrifices of your mother, you would never be able to finish. You might remember some of them, the ones that were loud, dramatic, full of tears. But the truth is, most of her sacrifices were silent, hidden, unseen, unspoken, but Allah saw every single one. The journey of a mother begins long before you were born. From the moment she knew you were growing inside her, her life changed, her body changed, her sleep changed, her appetite changed. Every heartbeat began to echo with worry, not for herself, but for you. She endured nausea, pain, exhaustion, and weakness upon weakness. Yet she smiled. She planned your future. She prayed for you before she ever saw your face. And as her body grew heavier, her steps slower, her breath shorter, she never complained to you. She bore the weight of life to give you life, and then came childbirth, one of the most painful experiences a human being can go through. Doctors will tell you that the pain of labor can be like breaking 20 bones at once. But she endured it for you, and the moment she heard your first cry, she forgot her own. She smiled through blood and tears. She fed you from her own body. She stayed awake night after night while the world slept, rocking you, nursing you, checking your fever, cleaning up your mess. She put her life on pause so yours could begin. She gave up comfort, she gave up career, she gave up her own desires, just to make sure you were fed, clean, loved, and safe, and it didn't stop when you learned how to walk. No, that was just the beginning. You might remember her cooking your favorite meal, or sewing your clothes by hand, or staying up late to help you with schoolwork. But do you remember the nights she cried silently, worried that she wasn't a good enough mother? The days she hid her hunger so you could eat? The times she was in pain but smiled so you wouldn't worry? You saw the surface of her love, but never its depths. There were days she wanted to break down but didn't, because you were watching. There were moments she had no one to talk to, so she spoke to Allah. There were nights she woke up just to place a blanket over you. When you were sick, she made dua. When you were stubborn, she made dua. When you succeeded, she didn't take the credit. She made more dua. And what did she ask in return? Nothing. Just that you love her. Just that you don't forget her. Just that you treat her with kindness. But too often we forget. We grow up and think we owe our success to our intelligence, our hard work, our effort, forgetting that we were raised on her sacrifice. The comfort we now live in was paid for by her discomfort. The strength we walk with today was built on her fatigue. Even now, if she is alive, her sacrifices have not stopped. She still prays for you. She still worries when you don't answer her calls. She still aches when you're hurting. You may be an adult to the world, but to her, you are still her child, and if she has passed on, her sacrifices are not erased. They are written, they are recorded by the angels. Her love echoes in your soul. Her dua travels to the heavens on your behalf. My beloved brothers and sisters, in this life, many people chase blessings. We seek barakah in our money, in our homes, in our time, in our health, in our children, in our dreams. We ask Allah daily, Ya Allah, put barakah in my efforts, bless my path, increase me in goodness. But often we overlook one of the most powerful and direct channels of barakah, serving your mother. Yes, barakah doesn't always come through more effort, more work, or more hustle. Sometimes barakah comes from a quiet act of service done in the kitchen, in the hallway, or in a small village where an elderly mother calls her son, and he answers with gentleness. Sometimes barakah is not in your degree, your resume, or your business. It's in the way you fold your mother's blanket before she sleeps. It's in the way you kneel to massage her feet after a long day. Serving your mother opens the gates of mercy in your life. Her satisfaction brings the satisfaction of Allah. Her smile can brighten the darkness in your heart. Her dua, spoken with sincerity, can turn your failure into success, your sadness into ease, your loss into provision. The Prophet once said, "The pleasure of Allah lies in the pleasure of the parent, and the anger of Allah lies in the anger of the parent." Narrated by Tirmidhi. He now imagine, if you bring pleasure to your mother, not just once, but consistently, lovingly, with humility, then you are not just making her happy, you are inviting the pleasure of Allah into your life. That is barakah. Barakah is when your small income somehow stretches and lasts. Barakah is when your home feels peaceful even if it's modest. Barakah is when your children grow up with good character. Barakah is when your soul feels light, your heart feels clean, and your path feels blessed. And much of this barakah can come from one source, your mother's contentment with you. Let me remind you, some people chase opportunities around the world, traveling, networking, striving. And yet they can't seem to find peace. They are always in motion, but something is missing. Meanwhile, another person may never leave his hometown, but he sits beside his mother, brings her tea, listens to her stories for the 10th time, kisses her forehead and says, "Mum, make dua for me." And she lifts her hands and says, "May Allah make you successful in both worlds." And that one dua carries him through closed doors, storms, illnesses, and heartbreaks. That's not luck, that's barakah. You may find yourself stuck in life, spiritually, financially, emotionally. You may feel like something's missing. Let me ask you a simple question. When was the last time you served your mother, not out of obligation, but out of love? Maybe the job offer you're waiting for is tied to her prayer. Maybe the anxiety in your heart can be lifted by her forgiveness. Maybe the barakah you seek is not in another course, another project, another city, but in the embrace of the woman who raised you. Even something as small as bringing her a glass of water, sweeping the floor beneath her, or taking her shopping with patience, all of it is counted by Allah, none of it is wasted. Allah is not only watching your salah and your fasting, He is watching how you treat your mother when she's frustrated. He is watching how you respond when she interrupts your plans. He is watching how you serve her, not when it's convenient, but when it's difficult. And He rewards you not only with ajr reward, but with barakah. Barakah in your sleep, barakah in your du'as, barakah in your tests, barakah in your future spouse, barakah in things you never even asked for. all because you humbled yourself in front of the one who carried you when you were helpless. My beloved brothers and sisters, among the most heartbreaking realities of life is this: your mother is a door to paradise, but that door can close at any moment, and when it closes, it doesn't open again. How many people are walking this earth today, heavy with regret, not because they were bad people, but because they realized too late that their mother was the greatest blessing they ever had, and they didn't honor her the way they should have. The Prophet said, "May his nose be rubbed in the dust, may his nose be rubbed in the dust, may his nose be rubbed in the dust." The companions asked, "Who, O Messenger of Allah?" He replied, "The one whose parents, one or both, reach old age during his lifetime, and he does not enter paradise by serving them." Muslim, look at the intensity of the words, "May his nose be rubbed in the dust," repeated 3 times. This is not a curse, it is a sorrowful warning, a deep regret. It's as if the Prophet is saying, what a tragic loss, what a wasted chance, what a missed opportunity for Jannah, because when your mother is alive, you are not just living life. You are living with a living gateway to Allah's mercy. Yet how easily we take it for granted. She calls and we ignore it, thinking we'll call back later. She asks for our help and we say, "I'm tired, maybe tomorrow." She wants our time, but we say, "I'm busy, I have deadlines, I have plans." And then one day, she's gone and all those tomorrows vanish, all those calls can never be returned. The voice that once whispered prayers for you every night is silent. That's when the door is closed, and once that door is shut, no effort, no money, no status can open it again. You can visit her grave, you can cry until your heart breaks, you can beg Allah for forgiveness, but that physical chance to hug her, to serve her, to hold her hand and kiss it, that chance is gone. Do you know how many people would give everything they own just to hear their mother's voice one more time, to undo a harsh word they once said, to apologize properly, to sit next to her and say, "Mum, I was wrong, forgive me." But now all they have are memories. Photos, empty bedrooms, and pain. My dear brothers and sisters, if your mother is still alive, know that you are living with a treasure that many would give their lives to have again. Don't wait for her health to fade. Don't wait until she's in a hospital bed. Don't wait until her hands are too weak to hold yours. Don't wait until you're whispering goodbye into the earth instead of her ear. You might think she'll be around for years, but death doesn't come by age. It comes by decree, and that door, your door to paradise, can close at any time, so while it is open, run through it. Serve her without limits, make her smile daily, ask for her du'as, sit beside her, not just for duty, but for love. Let her know that she matters to you, not once a year, not only on special occasions, but every day in every way you can. And even if she's difficult, even if there are wounds between you, even if years of misunderstanding have built up dry, humble yourself, try again, because once she's gone, the door is gone, and you'll spend your life knocking on memories that will never answer. My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes we speak about the virtue of the mother, and people listen in silence. Not because they don't believe in the message, but because their heart aches from a different place. Some carry wounds that were shaped not by neglect, but by pain at the hands of the very one they were told to honor. Not every mother was gentle, not every mother was nurturing. Some were harsh, some were emotionally distant, some in their brokenness passed on pain, and yet Islam still commands us to respect them. You might ask, but what about her anger? What about the words she used? What about the coldness, the unfair treatment? And to this our Deen gives a beautiful and powerful answer. Respect is not always a reflection of their perfection. It is a reflection of your character and your obedience to Allah. Respecting your mother, even when she is harsh, does not mean you justify her wrongs. It does not mean you deny your pain. It does not mean you erase your boundaries, but it does mean that you hold your tongue when you want to lash out, and you lower your wing in humility when pride tempts you to stand tall. Allah did not say, "Be kind to your parents if they are kind to you." He said, "Either one or both of them reach old age in your life, do not say to them off." Surah Al-Isra 17:23. There is no condition in the verse, no exception based on personality. upbringing, or emotional ease. This is a command rooted not in the mother's perfection, but in the sanctity of her position, and that position was chosen by Allah Himself. Your mother may not have always said the right words, she may have raised her voice when silence was needed, she may have made choices that hurt you, knowingly or unknowingly. But her flaws do not erase the fact that she carried you, gave birth to you, fed you, and tried in her own way to bring you into the world. Some mothers are wounded themselves, daughters who were never mothered, women who were never loved, who grew up without safety and carried unhealed pain into motherhood. Their way of showing love may have been distorted. But if she's still alive, you have a chance, not necessarily to fix her, but to rise above the pain. That's the test. You are not being tested with her kindness, you are being tested with her difficulty. Even the companions of the Prophet had to deal with difficult parents. One companion, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, had a mother who threatened to harm herself if he didn't leave Islam. She stopped eating and said, "I will die unless you give up your religion." What did Sa'd do? He did not shout. He did not argue cruelly. He did not disrespect her. Instead, he responded with firmness in faith and gentleness in tone. He honored her status, even as he disobeyed her command to disbelieve. There is a balance in our deen. You are allowed to disagree. You are allowed to have boundaries, but you are never allowed to dishonor. Sometimes that respect means helping her quietly. Sometimes it means being patient when she complains. Sometimes it means answering her with soft words even when her tone cuts deep. And if you truly cannot remain safe or emotionally healthy, you can create space. But even that space must be free from insults, mockery, or arrogance. Because you're not doing it just for her, you're doing it for Allah, you're doing it for the Lord who sees your tears, who knows the ache of your silence, who counts every moment you choose mercy when revenge would have been easier. You're doing it because your reward is with Him, not her, and He will never let your patience be lost. Respecting a harsh mother is not about pretending she was perfect. It is about rising above the pain with dignity and tawakkul. It is about choosing obedience to Allah over emotional reaction, and in doing so, you are planting seeds of barakah, not just for yourself, but for your children after you, because what you give today, you may receive tomorrow. My beloved brothers and sisters, we all sin, we all fall, we all carry the weight of mistakes, some that we regret every day, and some that we hide deep within, hoping Allah will overlook them. But do you know that among the most powerful ways to seek Allah's forgiveness, to have your sins wiped away, to invite divine mercy into your life, is by serving your mother? Yes, serving her is not just kindness, it is a path to cleansing your soul. Sometimes you may cry during tahajjud, raising your hands for forgiveness. Sometimes you may give charity, fasting, repeating astaghfirullah with sincerity, and yet your heart still feels heavy. The path to mercy feels distant. But then you kneel at her feet, kiss her hand, and say, "Mum, is there anything I can do for you?" And in that moment, without any dramatic words, without any public display, mercy begins to descend. Because your mother's heart, when pleased with you, becomes a conduit between you and the mercy of Ar-Rahman. There are narrations from our righteous predecessors, stories of men who were immersed in sin, who had nothing to show on the day of judgment, except one thing: they had honored their mothers, and because of that, Allah forgave them. Not because they were scholars, not because they led armies, but because they wept at their mother's feet and served them sincerely. In the well-known story of Uwais al-Qarni, a man whose name was never known in the time of the Prophet, who never met him yet was praised by him. Why was he so honored? Because he cared for his elderly mother. Because he stayed behind from joining the Prophet for one reason: she needed him. He served her so faithfully, so humbly, that the Prophet told his companions, "If you meet Uwais, ask him to make dua for you." Imagine that. The Prophet asking the companions to seek dua from a man, not known for his lectures, not for his status, but for how he served his mother. And because of that, Allah honored him in both worlds. Brothers and sisters, Sometimes our forgiveness lies not in a grand act of worship, but in a quiet act of service to the one who raised us. When you help your mother stand, when you brush her hair with care, when you hide your frustration and speak gently even when she's unfair, those are not small acts. They are spiritual transactions. You are buying mercy with service. You are buying forgiveness with humility. And how beautiful is the arrangement of Allah! He could have made forgiveness come through distant rituals, through complex acts. But He placed mercy within reach in your own home, in your mother's dua, in her smile when you serve her without complaint. Even when you have done wrong, even when your sins seem like mountains, your service to your mother can be the very rope that pulls you out of darkness, because her heart, when moved, cries out to Allah in a way that is heard instantly. The dua of a mother is not like any other. When she says, "Ya Allah, forgive my child, guide my child," those words do not hover. They fly straight to the heavens. If she is angry, her dua can close doors in your life. But if she is pleased, her prayers can open doors you never even knocked on. And sometimes the mercy you show her becomes the reason Allah shows mercy to you, not just in the dunya, but on the day when mercy is everything. The Prophet once said, "Be merciful to others, and you will receive mercy from the most merciful." At-Tirmidhi, he and who is more deserving of our mercy than the one who carried us, fed us, bathed us, protected us, and forgave us over and over again, even when we didn't deserve it. So if you're seeking a fresh start, if you're carrying guilt, if you feel distant from Allah, go serve your mother, serve her in silence, serve her in public and in private, serve her with your time, your hands, your wealth, your tears. Even if she doesn't notice every act Allah does, and perhaps through those small, hidden acts, the gates of mercy will open for you in ways you never imagined. My beloved brothers and sisters, every human being wants success. Whether believer or not, every soul yearns for ease, progress, fulfillment. Some people chase wealth, others chase recognition. Some spend years pursuing a dream, investing their time, their sweat, their energy into building a future. And yet, many remain restless as though something is missing. They move forward in the eyes of the world, but inwardly they feel distant, disconnected, unsettled. And then there are others, simple people. People without fame or fortune, without high qualifications or worldly accolades. But everything they touch seems to flourish. Their hearts are calm, their rizq provision flows, their du'as are accepted. Their life has barakah. Why? Because their mother is pleased with them. My brothers and sisters, the pleasure of your mother is not just an emotional preference. It is a divine indicator. It is a mirror of the pleasure of Allah. Her satisfaction with you is a doorway to peace in this life and everlasting joy in the next. The Prophet said, "The pleasure of Allah lies in the pleasure of the parent, and the displeasure of Allah lies in the displeasure of the parent." Authentic Tirmidhi, when your mother is happy with you, not just when you buy her gifts or visit occasionally, but when she feels genuinely loved, respected, heard, honored, then you are walking with the pleasure of Allah. And what happens when Allah is pleased with you? Doors open, hearts soften, trials pass, du'as are answered, projects succeed, guidance flows, and when you fall He lifts you, not because you are perfect, but because you carry the love of the one who gave you life. Your success in dunya, in your work, your marriage, your health, your children, often hinges on her smile. You may be working tirelessly to move ahead, but if you are moving ahead while stepping on the heart of your mother, you will never truly arrive. Maybe the stress in your life is not due to your job or your schedule, but due to a single tear your mother cried because of you. And your success in the akhirah, on that day when everyone will run from one another, when even the prophets will say, "Nafsi, nafsi, myself, myself," know that if your mother once lifted her hands and said, "Ya Allah, grant my child the highest Jannah," then you may be saved on a day when no other dua will come for you. Do you think Allah ignores the dua of a mother? Do you think He overlooks the voice that once cried out in pain just to deliver you into this world? No, He elevates it, He honors it. He responds to it, and sometimes your entire future is shaped not by your effort, but by a quiet dua your mother whispered while folding your clothes, or after wiping away your tears, or in the depths of the night when no one else even knew you were struggling. Subhanallah, she may not have a fancy title, she may not understand your world, she may mispronounce the technology you use, or not grasp the modern path you've chosen, but her heart is a sacred vessel, and her love is a spiritual force that moves between you and the heavens. And so, if you want success, real success, lasting success, success that outlives this world and follows you into the grave and rises with you on the day of judgment, please your mother, don't just avoid upsetting her, make it your mission to make her happy. Not once, but consistently, let her know that her role in your life didn't end when you grew up. Let her feel that your success belongs to her too. Let her see her reflection in your joy, because if she smiles from her heart and says, "May Allah bless you, my child," then what more could you possibly need? What hardship can overpower the one whose mother's heart is with them? What door can remain shut when she has knocked on the heavens for you? What sadness can endure when she has prayed for your joy?